Hi and welcome back to part 3 of Summoner, and in this part we try and make our way into the palace, but unfortunately these gods have a invisible wall spell which keeps us out. But on the bright side we do get to meet the best character in the game, in my opinion.
Please, I beg of you, I must see Iago.
That's Lord Iago to you.
Oh sorry Sir
Well,
Purple
And Lord
Knight.
Iago it is. I have urgent business.
Business? What
Joseph,
business? Will you sell
tell them you
turnips?
need to deliver a
He
pizza,
bowed
that'll
your
get you in.
bow.
I come by his command. Stand aside and let me pass.
Listen, peasant. You be on your way now.
Iago is expecting me. Ask him. My name is...
Irrelevant. Now go or I'll spill your blood on the palace gate.
Hey, hang on, these knights actually have British accents. Well, everyone else has American ones. Consistency much?
What's wrong, Your Grace? Won't they let you in the palace?
Huh? Who are you?
Follow me. I know a way in.
What are you talking about?
Come on. I'll explain when we get there. The guards are watching.
Oh, the sewers! Oh, please, can we just sneak in through some nice gardens?
These tunnels date back to the city of God.
Again with the sewers.
Anywhere in Linnell.
Yes, it seems every game does want to throw a sewer at you.
What you want.
Throw you into the sewer.
As you wish. My name is Felice. I work for Tancred.
But anyway, here we are introduced to Fleece,
Yeah,
who's
that's the
a
one.
very
Prince of
sneaky
Beggars,
character,
King of
who's
Thieves.
the sort of thief class of the game. And like I said, she's one of my favourite characters in this game. No,
Why should I even trust
I would say out of the stories,
wouldn't
she has
tell
the
you
most
how you
interesting
but
one, at
you
least.
wanna get in the palace,
She has sort of
so
the
do I.
most interesting personality as well. And when
But
it comes to
why are
gameplay,
you
she's
here?
actually
What do
got
you
some very
want
useful
from me?
skills.
There's something I need to get from the palace.
But why are you helping me?
Oh god, Joseph.
need
I swear, I don't
Soldier
hate
games,
Joseph,
I
but
can't risk
in most of
it.
his scenes, he is just whining.
You're making a mistake.
I mean, granted, you could argue he has a lot to whine about. He's had a pretty shit life, but
Let's go.
still. All I hear is me, me, me. And here we have the first dungeon. Well, I was saying that anyone who's played this game knows that the guys really seem to love the sewers. You know, the developers love the sewers in this game because they reuse this level over and over again. You don't just visit the sewers once, you visit it several times. Now, to give them some credit, the first time you go it's fairly complex and there's a lot to do if you choose to do the side quests, and the other times you're just making your way through. So I'll give them that. And even then, the first time you make your way through these sewers, it isn't really that complicated. It's only complicated really if you choose to do the side quests, which I have, and you can see them on the side here. We need to find a green shard for the Shards of Guillemardie. We need to find salt for the salt smuggler. We need to find silk for Servile the tailor, a ragdoll for the butcher, a rink for Pomporo, and a sewer grate key. Because something actually really cool about this sewer level, which I'm about to pay to compliment, is that it has multiple exits and exits, which lead to different parts of the city. So it really does work as I would guess a way to make your way through the city, to different areas like the palace or the old part of the city or the marketplace or whatever, or the outside even. Anyway, here we come across these Batshite enemies, and something I will give this game credit for is that it doesn't rely on the old traditional fantasy-based enemies like orcs. There's not a single orc in this game. They try to be a bit more creative with it. But anyway, the Batshites, I think they're called Batshites. They could be Bassites, I'm not really sure. But anyway, they're small praying mantis-like creatures. They come in a series of various forms with slightly different weaknesses and the like. But these guys are weak to fire, And I guess sharp weapons don't really... they're pretty useful against them as well. There's something I'm about to show off here is the game aspect I mentioned earlier. And that's where a group of weak enemies are actually more of a danger to you than, like, say, one large, powerful enemies. And that's because you can see here there are multiple Batshoids attacking fleets at numerous angles, and she can only attack one of them at a time. So you can really get overpowered by a group fairly quickly. You can see here Joseph is practically dying. Oh, and just to point it out, those fiery explosions, they come from Joseph's fiery falcon, that fiery sword I found in part 2. So, which is again why you want to use it, because you'll be attacking and then the fireball will shoot out and do an extra super attack, or what have you. Now the downside with the fireball move, in both, you know, the spell form and from this sword, is that it will create an area which will do damage. Which is, you might think that's pretty good, because it will do continuous damage to an enemy, which it will. But it will also damage any alloys which happen to be standing in that area. And here we have these broken mech golems. And the thing is, they're weak against blunt attacks, like maces and clubs. But at this point you don't really have any. You just have swords, and none of your characters can use any blunt weapons. So that's kind of a pity. And again, why you want to use the Fiery Falcon, because they are weak against fire. You know, of course they're weak against fire. They're steel types, but tish. And yeah, as I'm playing this game, I'm also going to do a little playthrough of Pokemon White, and I'm wondering which one will get the most views, just out of curiosity. I mean, Pokemon White is a well-known game, of course it is, but it's also, there are like a million LPs on YouTube already of Pokemon White. Now this game isn't, it's really not that well known, but there's only a few walkthroughs of it online, so, you know, which one will be better, the niche one like this game or the popular one like Pokemon White? Anyway, we'll see. Now here we have the brown Batshoids, a fairly tough variety. But you can see I'm getting fairly lucky with these fireballs. And the levelling up. Now, as far as I can tell, and I'm not really sure about this, I think the maximum level for characters in this game is level 25. And you can see I've leveled up fairly frequently in the early part of the game, and of course that becomes more scarce as you get on. See, I just need 2,000 experience points to the next level, and I'm already there. Now we can see here, for example, we've unlocked holy spells and staff weapons. Now staff weapons you don't really want to bother with. Just keep the sword weapons and blunt weapons for your melee characters, and also, you know, level up holy as well. I mean heal as well. Now as for the holy move, and yes, I'm getting those two mixed up, but as for the holy move, that does have its uses, which you'll see later on in the game. But right now I think heal, you know, just get that leveled up. And I guess contrary to what I said earlier, I did just level up dodge and parry, and I guess I should be more accurate. The FAQs didn't say not level them up, but it was recommended you level them up to about 4-ish. You know, you give some points towards the dodge and parry skills, but you don't waste too much skill on it. Here we have the green Batshoids, which are a little stronger, and I think they can poison you. And of course, make sure you collect every Batshoid tail. Each one will get you some gold coins off Murden. And I love those fountains of shit just pouring through from the rooftop. A nice detail, a disgusting one, if so. Now, the problem with Fleece, as you can see here, is that she has too many good abilities. You know, there's a backstab ability, which is really good. There's the picklock, which is good for collecting items. But Anyway, when it comes to her abilities, the two you really want to level up is Trip and Backstab. And she has Backstab there, and she has Trip. She'll get in a bit. But anyway, Trip and Backstab, really effective, and you'll see why later on. There's a particular part of the game where using Backstab, you might think it's cheap, but it really helps you get through. But you'll learn exactly what Backstab does in this game as we get on with it. Now, something I will give them credit for is this sewer, is that it's not actually a proper sewer as such. And what I mean by that is, as we get later on in the game, it is implied it does have a greater history. Like it used to be a great underground city. So I'll give this game credit. They have a sewer level, but at least they put some backstory into it. And you can see there I use the resurrect spell. Now there are items which you can get, which revive people when they've been KO'd, or when they've fainted. It's like in Pokemon, they don't die, they faint. Even in this game, you see two bones across their icons when they faint. But yeah, like I said, you can get items to resurrect people, but you're better off using heal. Now, something I haven't explained about other characters is that they do actually have an AI, which will dictate what kind of moves they will do in battle. For example, you could set a character's AI to heal, and whenever another character is in trouble, and if they know a heal spell, they'll heal them. Which is probably the best AI you want, really. You do want your healers to heal your party members, of course. Now, at this point, I think Fleece's AI is on support, which means whenever Joseph will engage an enemy in melee attacks, she will join in too. And I think right now that's what you want her to do, or at least that's what I want her to do. But I could mention a few things I'd like Fleece to do. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, that was terrible. Now, as for Fleece herself, she's, in terms of like you can tell, she is the thief character. So she is a bit more sneaky. So when it comes to direct melee combat, she isn't actually too strong. But I would say you still want to give her a dagger, or a sword at some points, really. It's best to have her attacking. I think when I first played this game, I gave her a crossbow. Like I realised she wasn't as strong as the fighting characters, so I thought I'd give her a crossbow and keep her in the background. And I actually had trouble the first time I played this game, which I didn't want to play it this time. I think that helped a lot. As you can see, we've logged the baby Batchites we killed earlier. So it's best to have lots of enemies, lots of people attacking. Even if they're not that strong, it's just good to have superior numbers. Like, you can have a character attack an enemy, and that character might be weaker, but at least they'll keep that enemy busy, while the rest of your party does other stuff, like heal or cast spells. So what I mean is, even if a character's weak, they can still act as a distraction. Now at this point here we have sort of a puzzle, I guess, where we have to go into solo mode. Now this sort of solo mode, it's barely used in the game, which I'm okay with, I'm not really bothered with. I think they just give you this puzzle here to show you how it works. So if you want to use it later, you can, but yeah, you don't really have to. Although what can be frustrating when you play this game is that your other party members will sort of run around. So if there's something dangerous you don't want them to run into, they'll probably run into it anyway. And just in general, when it comes to attacking enemies, try to attack them first, and if you see a group of enemies, attack them one by one. Don't try and engage them all, but you'll see examples of that as we get through this playthrough. Now Fleece just talks to the golems here, and they sort of open up the door for Joseph. which is I'm trying to compare this to something, and I guess it's just the typical co-op mentality, where that you get one person to stand on a switch, the other person opens a door, then they move around. And you can see in this part of the sewers, I was saying before, these sewers, they seem like an underground city, and they have like a backstory, and this this part really shows it off, because it looks like a civilization. What I mean is, it doesn't look like a grimy old sewer. It actually looks like it used to be something. You know, when I played this game, I did wonder who is lighting those green torches, but it's probably these golems here. Now, to complete the side quests, you might have seen earlier there are some gates which block your way, and you need to open them all. And the thing is, I can't really tell you which one of these levers opens which gate, so I just open them all. It isn't made clear which switch activates which door. Now you see this part here, that's actually where we need to go. That tunnel to the left there. That leads us to the palace. But we're not going there yet. There's a few side quests we need to handle while we're in the sewers. And that's something I give this game credit for, is the fact that it leaves most of the sewers optional. You don't have to explore it entirely if you don't want to.